Hello, welcome everyone. If you're watching this from the future, this is a game stream, so yeah, just skip ahead as I will be setting things up in these couple of minutes. But yes, in case you do not want to skip ahead, I am playing Arms Race, the Cold War era as it is called, which is a game that's been, I believe, in early access for a while, but yeah, it's been recently actually. I've been contacted by one of the developers, and he said, well, why don't you try it out, and we're gonna send you a key or whatever. And I'm like, why not? So here I am. That's essentially what it is. Let me see actually if this has been early access, or actually, I mean, it is completely released. But yeah, it is completely released. Okay, hold the fort. Yes, so essentially it is a game about the... Oh, hello. What do you mean when? When what? Explain to me, Blitzcobra. It's starting right now, actually. I was just waiting for people to get here. So essentially this is like a game where you'll see when we get in here. It's kind of like a big board game, if you will, where you're playing either as the Soviets or the Americans, and you're trying to, well, complete objectives to win the game. These objectives are, if we look at the campaign, on easy, which is what we're kind of forced to play, because we can't play on medium until we've played on easy and won, which is kind of weird. But on easy it is to win the space race. On medium it is to essentially like finish the game with the highest score. And then at hard, it is to destroy your enemy. So Q, the USSR or the USA. And I'm going to play, I think, as the USA, because why the hell not? And yeah, there's 4 historical leaders for each country. So there's Truman, Kennedy, Nixon, and Reagan. So like the most famous ones, Stalin, Khrushchev, Brezhnev, and Gorbachev. For the Soviets, they all have like their own unique traits that are supposed to be representing the era. So like you can see that Truman and Stalin's, oh god, what? That's credits. You can see that like Truman and Stalin's traits are essentially the same. And if we switch over to Khrushchev, then his and Kennedy's are the same. Then that's like the trait on the right side. Then there's also the trait on the left-hand side, where that's dependent on these 3. Like, oh no, that's actually, sorry, that's the one on the right. That's dependent on these 3 like personalities. You can either be militaristic, diplomatic, or economic, and all these give different things. Or you can just be historic, and again, it kind of is different by all these guys. Like for example, Brezhnev is diplomatic. So is Nixon. Reagan is also diplomatic, and I believe Gorbachev should also be. Yeah, Gorbachev is also diplomatic. But yeah, you've also got different traits over here. And if you choose historic, I believe the AI also chooses historic. But hey, that's something else. And if you choose one of these other ones, you're gonna get a random one, I believe. Oh, okay. Well, sorry. Ciao, Marco Polo. No, it is not similar to Hearts of Iron. It is kind of a board game. You'll see. Let's get in here. I'm gonna play as Truman and be militaristic because why the hell not? And oh boy, that's loud as hell. Okay, that was loud. Holy shit. So from what I've seen about the game, I've already kind of got an idea of like how it is. As you can see, we are in, and it is kind of a flat map. You can't zoom in and you can't zoom out. And okay, so wait, hold on. Actually, the game is going, so we're gonna pause. And you start in 1950. You start in 1950. You've got a bunch of tabs. Okay, so you've got the space race, which we're gonna take a look at soon. You've got a bunch of things in here. You've got, this is just like the ledger, you could say. Then there is the military research, which deals with your firepower, which is essentially how good your military can fight. There is the budgets, and if you go below 2,000, you're gonna have like a crisis, and your GDP or GNP, sorry, gross national product growth or GNP by itself, and you can invest in that. You've got global events that are essentially different, okay, so it's like different events that are important for the Cold War that, well, couldn't be represented in any other way, I guess, in the game. So you can see that they're kind of divided by eras. So the Vietnam War kind of happened in the 1960s, and that would be like the earlier stage of the Vietnam War. So you can see like there, you can have the Hungarian Revolution of 56, Berlin airlift, all of that. But if you go to 1960, all these events don't exist anymore, and what you can have instead is, for example, the Cuban Missile Crisis, or France's relationship with NATO, blah, 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 all of that. And these are actually unlocked by these points over here that I don't quite understand how they work from what I've seen of the game and of the manual, but whatever. This is industrialization, which is kind of like a thing where you can get to help develop other countries, and you're going to get some kind of like relationship in return. This is just the speed, and that's exit. So up here, there's also other things. There's, of course, the two alliances. One thing that I really dislike, well, not really dislike, but I would like to see differently about the game is that it's kind of sporting that view where the Cold War is just like the US versus the Soviets, which, well, I mean, it's kind of simplistic, because if you really look into this period, I mean, China was a player, France and Germany were players, the UK was a player, and then, of course, there's like a bunch of little tiny countries that all had kind of their minds of their own, trying to play off of each side of each other. For example, Turkey and Yugoslavia were doing their own thing during the period. Finland was doing their own thing. Iran also, you know, all these like little tiny minor players, and there was of course like emerging players like India and China, as I said. But whatever, that's another thing for another day. I guess it's gonna be for the DLCs. So how the game works is that you have these points up here. This is the budget and the political sort of power, and this is the score. So the higher the score, the better. And essentially, this all goes into the global influence. So how you get score and influence is you take individual regions like Central America and Mexico. Sometimes these are countries, sometimes these are like regions of different countries. For example, Venezuela also includes, like, just in general, Northern South America. So does Colombia, it includes Ecuador, blah, blah, blah. It's just kind of like an expression of a region. And influence in there is represented down here. For example, if we click on China, there is 30 Soviet influence, 0 American influence, and 70 neutral. So China is mostly neutral, but it's Soviet enough to be on the Soviet side, so it gives 4 score to the Soviet alliance, and it goes into that 22. East Germany, for example, 40 Soviet, 50 neutral, 10 NATO. France, 10 NATO, 85 neutral, and 5 Soviet. Spain, on the other hand, apparently 55 NATO, 40. So why are you not in Spain? Why are you not in NATO then? Huh. Well, that's something that... Wait, hold on. There's no music. Oh no, okay, just because it was so loud earlier that I reduced it too much. Okay. Yeah, like, why are you not supposedly part of the Western Bloc? I am not sure. Oh well, I guess I must have skipped it. And then there's also, you know, these are like all little indicators on each region. So for example, this is the support for the government. This is the opposition to the government. So of course, if the opposition gets a little bit too high, you can have events like coups, and you can, as one of the two entities, support either the government or the opposition in case, like, for example, if opposition to the government became too high in East Germany, I could, as the United States, come in and help, like, coup the government. That's kind of that thing. Then there's these are like budget, spies, military points, and diplomats. These are just like my resources to fuck with other countries. And then this is just like you can add spies. You can try to add your own influence in one place or the other. For example, let's pick place. Like, for example, Greece. If I were to try to add points, that spent my... no, it did not spend my political points. But it did spend... It was supposed to spend political points, now was it? Oh, no, it spent my diplomats, sorry. So that spent one of my diplomats to increase my influence. That's just kind of how you try to leg up on the other person. And these are like all the regions. You can cycle between them, blah, blah, blah. Israel. So I'm not sure why there are some regions that are highlighted over others in this kind of tab, but well, that's its own thing. And yeah, I believe that's about it for just the explanation. So right now, of course, in 1950, there's the Korean War. Let me actually just see if there's something. Hey, hello, Vasa, Cuba Libre. Fucking Lorenzo came instantly, so now I have to instantly end the stream. Well, yes, Spain was fascist at the time, but like the game doesn't really take into account the form of government, and that it's kind of like a realism 101. Like, you're gonna take the help of whoever wants to be your little underling. So right now, Spain, it doesn't matter that they're fascist. If my influence is much higher and they join me, yeah, for example, you can see these actions down here, and we don't have actually any spies in this place. You can, though, support, like even in your own countries, you can support a parade, which is kind of like, I think it's going to increase either your influence or the support for the government. It's supposed to be like you strengthen the government. And there's actually this nice little like thing shows you, you know, like the most important like buildings. What are they doing there? Although some of these don't quite add up. Like, for example, here you can see the pyramids behind Egypt. But for some reason, Libya seems to be kind of in a alpine paradise. Also, the flag is incorrect. Oh, no. Also, East Africa is a little big. So honestly, one thing that it probably should be doing is breaking up some of these regions into, like, their own countries. Like, for example, Somalia, Ethiopia, and Sudan could all be different. Like, that would be pretty basic, I would feel like, but would make sense, especially since, like, in the actual Cold War, Somalia and Ethiopia did fight a lot with one side supporting the other. So it is historically accurate. Also, Indochina is probably a little bit too big for, you know, anyone's tastes. It's kind of including Burma, Thailand, and Vietnam, Laos, Cambodia. Southeast Asia. Oh, look, it's got the ASEAN flag. And Straya, even. Wow. So it's got no influence here. Yeah, I'm gonna find out how to get people to join your alliance one day. But yeah. So for example, are there like some of these global events that would make you... Yeah, for example, Indochina joins the Soviet alliance if the Vietnam War... if the Vietnam War happens... Like, I believe this is supposed to be if the Soviets are in favor to win the Vietnam War. So if they have more of these points. And yeah, anyway, so there's also this nuke meter. So right now it's 50-50. Actually, at the beginning it's 50-50. I'm not sure if it's exactly like a placeholder value or if it's due to balance, but of course, like historically, America was quite a little bit stronger than the Soviets. So that it's 50-50 at the start is kind of derpy. But yeah, at the start you just are 50-50 in all meters. You even got the 50-50 for the nuclear arsenals, and if you're like if one of the two sides gets too strong with nukes, they can basically just win the game, which is supposedly like well, you know, you're just too weak, we're gonna bomb you, or whatever the fuck you can call that. So right now, of course, there's the Korean War going on, and you can see that this kind of shows the events of what's happening around here. So you can support South Korea and do your own thing. I'm not sure if we would really want to support South Korea right now. I mean, yeah, probably. We had to show them. And you can see that like there's a little march with all freedom flags. And you can support a riot in North Korea. Yay! Of course. Let's send some spies to North Korea, because why not? And send some spies to South Korea, because that's probably also a good decision.
Also, well, what other use can we have for our things? Well, we've got still got 4 diplomats. Well, perhaps we should influence Austria. I mean, we've got enough influence that we can add military forces or... okay, so we have actually got quite a bit of military in West Germany already. I wonder if increasing your military somewhere has unintended consequences. That would be pretty cool. I know that there was like random events in the game. For example, if I were to increase my military, can I do it in South Korea? No, it's already at maximum. And actually the Soviets have a few units there as well. See, it's supposed to be representing that they're fighting each other. And what like the outcome of the war is going to be decided by is the firepower score. For example, right now you can see that it's 60% in my favor because of various different factors that we're not gonna go into right now. But like, it's mostly due to I think the fact that we start with a better navy. I don't know. Oh crap. See, I decided to increase my military production, but I think that spent a little bit too many of my political points. All right. And yeah, this is basically like the technology that I have. There is technology for air, there's technology for land, sea, and nuclear. So we can't actually change around my research priorities right about now because we've just decided to increase the production, so we don't have political points left for research. RIP. I hope that we're gonna get some more points next, next up, because it's actually real time. And yeah, what can we do with our like diplomats? And this is a lot more Soviet influence than we do, so maybe India. Yep, American troops enter the country to support the local government. Okay, so that brings them closer to me, I guess. And yeah, I'm also gonna put up a lovely spy, which allows me to support parades and riots. Probably don't want to do that right about now. And, well, just to screw with the Soviets' shit, we've already got troops in Iran, so we might as well increase those. Well, we've added quite a few military units in Iran, and there we go. Support parade, good. And we're out of diplomats, kind of, except we could... Is there any other like country that we might want to improve relations with or whatever? I mean, Finland. Finland's more Soviet right now than not. I guess we could just like do What the fuck? Why does Mexico have 35 Soviet influence with like 6 Soviet units? You know, guess we gotta fuck with Mexico. Okay, so that's right now pause, and we can finally unpause. Oh, I do have Panzer General? Let me check. I'm pretty sure I do. Oh no, wait, I don't have Panzer General. I don't know, I don't. I thought I did. I guess like I just played it back in the day, but I never had it on Steam. You mean the, okay, so let me just check. You mean the old one, right? Oh, it never came out on Steam. Okay, never mind. And no, they cannot win the Civil War, and yes, there is a difference between direct war and insurgency. And I'm playing the Americans because why the hell not? The nationalist Chinese can't win the Civil War because they've already lost it. And actually, I think Taiwan is, it's just kind of no man's land. Like, if you click on it, nothing happens. So the nationalist Chinese cannot win the Civil War because, well, it's February 1950. They've already lost it. They're already in Taiwan. All right. Can we? Nope, we cannot increase the spending on the space race because of, you know, the problem of no political points. All right, so I guess now we just go slow and see what happens. Yeah, so right now it's just kind of like North Korea, South Korea, blah, blah, blah. So you can see that it's relatively slow, but it does happen. Actually, might as well just put medium. So this is how it's going to work. All right. Bloody North Korea. Need to support South Korea more. And I'll actually put all, like, you know, the mass amount of firepower that I can possibly get. And in fact, in the South, it seems like pro-Soviet troops are not really that present anymore. So that's good. And actually in North Korea, it's kind of a 50-50. So that's okay. Yeah. All right. Seems like every year you get political points, so that's good. And one thing that I want to do is I want to get the Soviets the hell out of Mexico, because it's like, what the hell? What the hell, Mexico? Okay. Should probably start to spend more on this research. And of course, this military production is going to end up in your military points. Okay. It's going to end up in your military points that you can spend all around. Okay, well, bloody Korean War. Just trying to see, like, all over if the Soviets are trying to do anything stupid anywhere. Oh boy, North Korea is actually increasing their... Oh, okay, so the USSR built Baikonur. I guess they're getting a little bit ahead on the space race. We're gonna put some research money into ground facilities as well. And this is like the... Okay, this is like our score. We cannot invest in the growth of the budget, which is fine. Oh, South Korea. Looks like they won in North Korea in the end, but we are about to win in South Korea. So, Korean War crystallizes. That's kind of understandable. Bloody Poland. You know, if you put units like in a country, it would probably make it sway your way. Look at that, we've got a bunch of units in Turkey. I'm gonna put my army in Austria, because why the hell not? And once I get more political points, I can, like, actually increase my budget, blah 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 blah. You live in no man's land, Huang. Yeah, well, that's how it is. That's just how it is. And are any of these global events happening? Well, the Soviets have a bunch of points. Not exactly know how to... Oh, Berlin airlift. -40 opposition in East Germany, -5 influence for the American alliance for the USA. Okay, so that's because they got the first thing, and so they did the Berlin airlift. And actually, now East Germany is much more secure for them. And the Korean War is over. Okay, so it's just kind of crystallized. How do you get these points? That's what I want to know. Because it was very, very unclear, actually, in the manual, how that worked. Bloody Portugal. We're fucking with Mexico, and there we go. Hungary is having problems. Wait, we can actually send troops into Hungary. That's hilarious. Would we be at the advantage? Yes, we would. So let's invade Hungary. We might as well invade Hungary, and the Soviets are responding in kind, of course. Hold on. One thing that I need to do is pause. Oh, pause. Okay, where is... God damn it. So I need to get... Okay. So, do that, and for GDP, we're gonna invest into 2% growth, because why the hell not? And, hold on. Okay, yeah, because that's like, the Soviets are technically going ahead of us in that regard. We want to have as much money as possible. Okay. And we might as well put spies here. Because why not? So, war in Hungary, yay. I wonder if, like, nearby... I wonder if nearby, like, troop counts really matter or not. And yeah, it's not being very effective. God damn it. Yeah, I think that it must, like, include the calculations of neighboring things, because 50%, 50%, they clearly shouldn't be winning so much. America. Fuck yeah. We're coming in to save the motherfucking day. Hey, at least we're richer. Okay, right, so here it's all the same. Oh, Mexico. Would you like to support local government? Plus 20 support. Pause. Okay, so... this is just an event, right? Would you like to support local government? Well, I mean, Soviet influence is pretty high here. I guess, sure. We're gonna do a turnaround. Yeah, I don't think we can really take Hungary, because their troops just win really easily. I think it is because, like, neighboring countries. I think that's the reason, but hey, I don't know. It must be, but I can't be for sure. Because itself, like, this firepower score thing says that we're higher. So, to be honest, I don't understand. I do not understand. More into this. And more into this. Alright. One thing that I would really like to know is how to get more political points. No, it's still got 76%. unrest. So who knows? Budget. Let's get a lot of budget. A new way of India. Yeah, again, like, they are winning a whole lot more in terms of these points, but I don't understand how to get them. I just don't know. I tried to look at the manual for it, but it was just like, it was arcane. It said something about global points, but it just didn't say how to get them. So yeah. Maybe it's because they have a higher global influence, or who knows. Hey, Japan, what the fuck? Said, like, higher independence. Yeah, okay, like, they're at this point just pouring back in troops, and I don't think that that's gonna really do a lot. And that's the only war that's going on right now, so that's whatever. How do we get more people on our side? Well, hey, USSR develops rockets. How dare they? Hey, well, whoa, 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 whoa. Okay, that's good. Somehow that turned it around. And now the Soviets are out of Hungary. Ain't that great? Now they're neutral. Good. I like that. Not sure how that happened, but I'm pretty happy that it did. And yeah, look at that. Now their guys are really losing. So that's good. Oh, wait. Yep, Hungarian Revolution. Okay, good. So that really screwed with them. That's pretty great. And now we are getting the points, somehow. Not sure how that's possible. I'll invest one more time into the growth of the GDP, and then I'm gonna look at, like, just powering on the space race, because that, technically it's like the ultimate goal of all of this. So that's good. For some reason, though, we cannot add military anymore. But hey, it's good. I mean, we won the war in Hungary somehow. There's not much else happening. Oh, Britain. Would you like to discredit the Soviet ambassador? -10 to Soviet influence. Nah. They've got 1 influence in the UK. And it's not like that would increase my influence. So no. 0 diplomats. How would you go about increasing your diplomats and your spies? Well, probably just having different leaders, right? Oh, crap. They're actually coming back. Okay, hold on. Hold the fort. Pause. Right, so we're gonna really increase our budget for launches, because we've got quite a few ground facilities, but not really a lot of launches. One thing that actually kind of derps me here is that it does not tell you the progress of the Soviets right about now. So it does not tell you the progress of the Soviets in the same thing, which is kind of derpy. Oh well. And if I could add troops in here, I'd be a happy man, but unfortunately, it's not happening. I can only add spies, which is kind of fine, although they are slowly but surely winning. It's like, give me the ability to send in all of my troops, and I'll show you how strong America is. Hey, they launched Sputnik. American communism. So Soviet influence removed in the USA and +10 USA influence in the Democratic Alliance. Okay? So that's gonna give us +10 for everyone. Okay. That's good. And Hungary, I mean, they've still got some Soviet troops in here, and we don't have any more of our own, but they're out of the Soviet alliance. So that's already something. Okay, January 1959. What we're actually going to do is save points because... Oh, okay, diplomats, spies. Never mind then. Yeah, I'm gonna, except for just the extra diplomat, I'm gonna save points because I think that one of the ways you get these things is just by doing things. I know it sounds retarded, but yeah. And oh boy, Canada. What do you want? Support the local Democratic Party plus 20 American influence. Why not? For just 50 budget. So just having more America. More America. Yeah. Fuck yeah. Where can we fabricate another crisis? That's just America for you. Whoa. The Soviets somehow were able to send a crapload of units to there. See, I feel like the Soviets have been investing into more diplomats than we have, because they just seem to be sending many more people around. Okay. Well. What, Venezuela? What do you want? Why can I not click on you? Oh, anti-government riots. Okay. Oh, seems like the Soviets have been hard at work. Just kind of derping around. So we're gonna send support for the government. And okay, what can we do? Okay, so the Berlin crisis. Let me see what these do. Berlin crisis is USSR influence in East and West Germany. So we probably wouldn't want that. Or I guess if this happened for us, then we'd get better things. Okay. Central America joins the Soviets. I'd rather not have that. Okay, what can we do? Just send a couple guys here. We're going to reinforce Benelux and Italy. And somehow they decided to kick out my dudes from Austria. Pieces of shit. I'm not exactly sure how they got so much influence in some of these places. Like, they're just sending people all over the place, which is kind of derpy and annoying. Not quite sure how they're doing it. Okay, and here. In Japan, actually, they've got a bunch of neutrality, so that's annoying. Okay. Bloody Venezuela crisis. Again, not really quite sure how the Soviets got so much. Guess we're gonna have to max out our diplomats very quickly, so that we can get more. And why can you not add more military exactly? I don't really understand. Because it seems like our guys are getting kind of their butts kicked, but we can't send reinforcements and extra support. Why exactly is the case? I do not know. But we're about to retake Greece. That's great. Oh, Cuban Missile Crisis. Central America joins the Soviets. Crap. Oh, actually, there's a big kind of fight going on. Oh, okay. Can send support again. And it's not going well. Not going well by one bit. Actually, Central America joins the Soviets. It's kind of derpy because we have more influence. Huh. We've successfully launched a chimpanzee into space. How's the space race looking? Well, slowly but surely. Gonna get more diplomats. And we need to come back into Greece. What the fuck? How did they reduce my influence to 0 in Greece? How exactly? And now we have a problem because of the whole firepower thing. Man, how did they get another crisis to fire for them? I don't really understand. France, what do you want? Local nationalists, plus 20 new... No. They're my friend right now. Well, kind of. Okay, one thing that we also need to do is we need to increase nuclear research. Otherwise the bloody Soviets will get ahead of us. By the way, this. How would we go about doing this? Oh, Iran. Local nationalist plus 20 neutral. Yeah, okay. Good. So that got them back into my place. So I guess that's how these things have been happening. Like, it's just been a whole slog of events. But yeah, I still don't know exactly how this whole thing works, but I'm probably gonna lose, because you know, Soviets are doing pretty well right now. At least from the ground, it seems this way. How would you go about getting them out of the bloody Soviet alliance? Who knows? Yeah, but like right now, I'm getting a whole lot more diplomats and such. So I can see why exactly the Soviets were able to increase their own influence so much compared to me. And it seems like that they're gonna get their wishes anyway. Oh, Brazilian coup d'etat. This 30 American influence, minus 200 for USSR budget. Why not? Just gonna put some extra dudes in here. And yeah, they won. Kind of. Kind of. And what I'm gonna do next is I'm just gonna increase majorly like our Navy research. Again, I'd really love to see how you would go about getting more political points, because it's kind of how the whole thing is based on. Oh. Oh, there's a lot of opposition in Brazil. A whole lot of opposition there. And I'm not quite sure exactly how in Greece my influence just keeps getting cucked. But we're starting to get back into the firepower game. Oh boy, that's because they have 37 or 63%, whatever this is. So this is not looking that great. Oh, Brazil. Looks like you need help. Send help. So we're winning a little bit more here. Oh, hold on. Mexico, would you like to support the local government? Yeah, sure. This game looks very derpy. Make Italia great again. Also, it's kind of a click fest. That's another thing I don't exactly like. And how do I exactly get to work with this contract? It doesn't really say. I need to increase my military research and stuff very greatly. I'm also going to increase my space race stuff. Invest in the growth of the budget and, well, just kind of hope for the best. Are we going to get more events? Probably not. There's a bit of a derpiness going on. See, if I add anything here, it's not gonna do anything. I need to add essentially everything I'm producing to Brazil, because right now that's the big fight. What I don't understand is exactly how do I get these people to join my alliance? Because I'm thinking that that's gonna increase this percentage global influence, and right now the Soviets are far ahead of me in that, which is a big derp for me. Next generation of space station. Exactly how far is that? Apollo 8, Apollo 11. Where's the space station? Ooh, over here. No, that's a space probe. You know, that seems like they're very far up. See, to me it kind of feels like they have more political points than I do. That's how it's feeling like, at least. What the hell? How did they have more in Western Germany than I do? Oh, who's that? East Africa. And Angola. How's it looking in Angola? Well, probably can't do anything with that. And colonial legacy. Oh, well, 100 opposition in Angola to East Africa, plus 30 American influence in South Africa, minus 200 for the USSR. Okay, so we got a bunch of influence in South Africa. I like that. Yay! Whatever that was. No pop-up happened. Oh, what the how did they join the Soviet faction? New Soviet government is established after overwhelming... Oh, they also did so in Yugoslavia. How the hell are they doing that? I'd like to know how to do that. Right, it's this new government thing. You need to have, I think, 80% support something for opposition. I don't really know how this works. I don't really know how any of this works. Oh. Yeah. Yeah, sure. Angola, East Africa, Venezuela. See, there's just not much that I can do in any of these places to deal with growing Soviet derpiness. They just seem to be getting stronger literally everywhere, which is what's kind of annoying me. Like, for example, how are they increasing their influence so much in some of these countries? I will never understand. Like, they're just increasing everywhere at once, which is something that I'm not understanding, because right now I cannot increase everywhere at once. But it looks like we've at least won Brazil. Lul. Angola, France. Local nationalists? No. Fuck you, France. And there's a war in Italy. Okay. There's also a war in East Africa, but that's the one that we didn't care about. With Angola, it's like, what the hell are we gonna do? With Italy, though, we might as well just get a lot of support. First unmanned satellite. Damn, that's pretty behind. And France is out of NATO because of the French question. Dick. Oh, there's also a war in France. Well, you can fuck yourself, France. You literally just decided to not support me. And now you want help? Piece of shit. No, fuck you. I'm gonna support Italy. And fucking France joined the Soviets. Pieces of shit. Fucking worthless swine. Usual fucking French. Yeah, I don't really know exactly how I could just get my own government in Brazil, because it seems like it's 100%. Let's see, support riot. What would that do? Could we support a new government? See, it's supposed to have 80% at least in order to support a new government, but it's not happening, which is very derpy. Right, there's still this thing going on in Angola, which is, well, we can't deal with that. Yeah, how did the Soviets get so strong everywhere else? I don't truly understand how that works. And they got a manned mission, by the way. Although we already did do a manned mission somehow. We need to increase our spending in ground facilities. Now, another thing that we need to invest in is our, like, not just military research, but military production too. Yeah, there we go. Because we're getting these things too slowly. Oh, and actually we don't have a lot of money either. How is that possible? I don't really understand. See, okay, I think I know what you need to do in this game. Like, you just need to spend a whole lot. Like, the first few years, just getting a whole bunch of GDP, so that you're gonna have a lot of money. Like, the first few years. But since then, after that, it is limited by how much. Oh, actually, yeah. It is limited by how much political points you have, right? If you are limited by how many political points you have, you might as well just stop getting some of that, right? Oh, Egypt. Well, whatever. It's gonna be theirs. So after that, you really need to invest heavily into diplomats, I guess. Diplomats and spies, because otherwise you're just kind of derped out of luck. And only then you can really invest into the other things. Like, now my only chance, I guess, is to win the space race. At least we're winning Italy. Lul. And in Brazil, we're getting maximum, so that should hopefully be enough to win there. Bloody Switzerland. Oh, India. Local nationalists, yes. They're still pro-Soviet, though. That's kind of annoying. Also, I definitely increased my military production spending, but it's not really feeling that way. For some reason, it went back down to 0, and I dislike that. Also, somehow it's not spending in diplomats. Not sure why. How are they just able to just reinforce all the time? This does not make any sense. At least we're at 50% when it comes to nukes. Dinosaurs. Yeah, they're gonna win the fucking war, even though, like, how exactly? I don't understand this. Like, how did they have double my budget and they joined the Soviet government? How does this even work? We have 0 diplomats, 1 military thing, and 0 spies. And they're winning the space race, and we don't have any budget, and we don't have superior tech, and all of our spending is at 0%. Why exactly? Even though they have less, like, budget than we do, except they can afford everything and we cannot. And finally, this event happens to me, which is, I guess, good, but, I mean, what can we do about it? Because they're not going to join my government anyway. And we don't have any more diplomats either. There's also a war in Norway. Oh, well, they've set foot on the moon. We're working on that, I guess. But we don't have any money being put into that. I don't understand. I was putting a crap load of money into it. Why? Why is that? Also, how is my Brazil influence decreasing, and why the hell do I not have any points to get back into that? There's also a war in fucking Benelux, of all places. And the whole firepower thing is still in the Soviet favor because we haven't had that much money to really research things. Support local government, no. Okay, at least Norway's over. Okay, like, why do I not have money? I don't understand. Like, I'm supposed to have more money than the Soviets, except I don't. Like, I'm spending free in military production, and yet the budget is over 74. And yet I'm not getting anything. Oh, somehow they're just much higher. Like, ours just fell at some point. And that's just the growth rate. Okay, that's pretty annoying, to be honest. Oh no, that's just the overall budget. Okay, so they have all of that. Yeah, I already knew that. What I want to know is why I cannot spend it on anything, because clearly the Soviets have more military points to spend everywhere, because they're winning all these wars. And clearly we don't have any bloody diplomats anymore. Like, how are we not getting any diplomats anymore? I don't understand. Why? I had like a whole bunch of money invested into this. And somehow they got, like, when I wasn't looking, they got a whole thing into there. There's a thing going on here in East Africa. Norway still, well, Norway's fired up again. And yes, I would like to do that. Central Africa, well, it's not like we can do anything about it. And the Benelux is just slowly but surely being put into their side of the whole pot. You know, how is Brazil not on our side? They have 0. Why can you not take new government? It's supposed to be when you have 80% either opposition or I guess we need more of our influence, but and there's nothing we can do. They just won there by default. So I guess we just add as much as possible to West Germany and try to hold on to it. And to Denmark. Oh, there's a war in Spain. Try to add as much as we can. Yeah, that's gonna go their way. See, somehow West Africa joined us. Why? I don't know what I did. That's really like the thing that's been pissing me off about this game the most, I guess, is just the whole feeling of you're not in control. You're just not in control. Things are happening. It's just things are happening and you don't know how to change the whole course. And I've read the manual. It does not say how to invite someone in their faction. Like, for example, why is Indochina not in the Soviet faction? They've got 100 influence. I don't really know right about now. Got full Soviet influence and they cannot join the Soviet faction. At least we're getting money again, somehow. Get that money. And we're not getting any more space races because for some reason it's just not investing money into it. They're even taking Colombia. Like, they've just got forces there. Like, how can they afford to just put troops literally in the entire world where I can't even afford to support Spain? And that's the only thing I'm trying to do. And like some of the only money I have is going into military production. Of course, they got a whole bunch of the events because they're doing a lot better than we are. Oh well, they're gonna take Spain and even Southeast Asia somehow. Southeast Asia, Spain, yeah. We just don't have the forces to support Spain. They're just gonna take it. Not exactly sure, again, how this all works because... Yeah, there we go. There it is. Because I just don't know. We don't have the resources to even pursue one thing successfully. And somehow Greece and Turkey joined my faction. Why? Why exactly? Like, what the fuck just happened? How did they join my side? And there's a war in Ireland, of course. IRA pieces of shit. Norway joins the Soviets. And despite the fact that Greece joined my side, it seems like the Soviets have just more firepower, or whatever you want to call it. And yeah, I just don't have the points to do anything. Why is my influence in Brazil so low? I've been spending diplomats into this place for the entirety of the game. What the fuck? Okay. Guess we won in Greece, and Soviets won in Ireland. What the hell is going on in Portugal? Seems to me we can't do shit. And see, like, what the frick? These influences for the Soviets just continue to grow just on their own. I don't think they really need to put diplomats anywhere. The game just gives them influence by default. I'm not sure why, but yeah, that's just how it is. Satellite with modern equipment. What does that even mean? There's a conflict in Israel. Yeah, I mean, see, here we have 10 guys and they have 1. But you can fucking imagine that they're gonna win. There's Brazil firing up again. Usual stuff. At least West Germany is not giving any problems. See, I think what's kind of causing this is that these techs increase global influence by 1%. That then increases the firepower. But if you spend too much into this, then you don't have enough to spend into this, and you get fucked anyway. And then you also don't have enough to spend into this, and then you're never gonna have, like, things anyway. But then if you do that, you don't spend into this, and you're gonna get cucked by your budget. So it's kind of like a thing of you need to concentrate on one thing to be good at it, but you cannot concentrate on one thing to be good at it. So there's like clearly some kind of fucking derp balance that needs to be done. Because this is even supposed to be on easy, and well, it's clearly not. Might have something to do with this global consequence piece of shit. August Putsch? What the hell is this? Plus 50% opposition and plus 30% nationalist influence in the USA. Oh, they can putsch us. Because why the hell not? Somehow we need to increase our own influence here. See, because for us, these things just increase by 1 every time we do anything. And I feel like for them it's increasing a whole lot more because they're already winning. So it's kind of a win-more system going. Because at the beginning everyone starts with basically nothing. And I'm not sure that it changes that rapidly when you try to do things. But somehow, because they started to win in a few of these things, because at the beginning it was fairly equal. But then they started just snowballing. I'm not sure how, but they started snowballing, and yeah, I guess we support local terrorists. They just started snowballing and snowballing, and after that it was all over. And somehow Brazil won their side. How do they have so much military? What the fuck? They won Israel too. I don't understand. How can they support so much more of that? I don't understand this. There's a bit of a lack of not just visual feedback, just feedback as a whole from this game. It does not tell you what's going wrong with necessarily what you're doing. It just tells you that it's going wrong. So I guess interface needs a bit of an improvement. And yeah, I don't think I have anything else to say right now. I mean, also you cannot go over the international date line on this side or on this side. It's well, I mean, of course, like I know why, because it's a square. It's not a band, it's a square. So I guess kind of fine. And yeah, I think I'll go now. No, I don't have higher points than Soviets. They have higher points than me, 66, and they have well, we have 21 and they have 66. Oh well, guess that's gonna be it. Thank y'all for joining me, and yeah, I hope I'll see you soon. I'm not sure if I'll play this next time. I'll definitely, I think, try to have some like alone time of it, just to see what the hell is going on. It's not like I have that much time though, so well, maybe I'll see you soon. Maybe I won't. Probably do some streaming in the weekend, just the Hearts of Iron, and yeah, have a good day. Have all a good